Patriots fans, buckle up, because the atmosphere around New England has reached that point where every snap feels bigger, every drive feels heavier, and every play seems to carry the full weight of a rivalry that never fails to deliver. The team enters another showdown with the Giants, living one of those stretches that can completely shift the direction of an entire season, riding a winning streak that has lasted more than 2 months, something very few people imagine back when they were still trying to find their identity after those chaotic early weeks. Ever since that battle against Pittsburgh, which now feels like it belongs to a different era, this team has simply refused to lose. And now, returning to that classic retro uniform that stirs the memory of every longtime fan, the Pats come in with momentum, swagger, and just a tiny bit of that superstitious fear that the jersey could suddenly turn into a reverse good luck charm. But nobody dares say that out loud and ruin the vibe. And facing the Giants is never simple. Anyone who follows this rivalry knows that it doesn't matter what phase either team is in. It doesn't matter who's dominating, who's rebuilding, or who looks better on paper. When these two step on the field, the game instantly becomes a historical battlefield. There have been so many meetings decided in the final moments that it has practically become tradition to expect a dramatic ending. In the last 5 matchups, only one was decided by more than a single possession, which perfectly explains why tension always spikes when this game shows up on the schedule. There's just something about this duel, something that gets into the nerves of both sides and makes every snap feel more meaningful than in any other week of the season. The Giants arrive once again carrying a storyline their fans are tired of, competitive for 3 quarters and unable to close games when the clock hits those final, decisive minutes. They've had several chances to flip narrow losses into wins, moments that would have changed their entire standing in the conference. But blown leads have turned into a recurring nightmare. And even though there's real talent spread across that roster, they simply can't execute when the weight is heaviest. Still, nobody can ignore how they always find a way to make life miserable for New England. The tension rises even more this week with the expected return of Jackson Dart, who has quickly become the focal point of hope for the Giants. While the season began with Russell Wilson and an offense that felt completely frozen, Dart brought back something New York hadn't seen in a while: aggression, mobility, and confidence in his reads. Even after missing some games due to injury, his numbers make it obvious why there's so much noise around him. He protects the football, completes passes at a strong rate, and doesn't hesitate to take risks when it's time to push the offense forward. But what truly complicates life for defenses is his running ability. He sees space, accelerates, and has zero hesitation absorbing contact, which explains how he managed so many rushing touchdowns, even if it also explains all those trips to the concussion protocol. On the other sideline, Drake May arrives playing some of the best football of his young career. The Patriots quarterback has made it clear he's not just another promising rookie. He's a game changer, someone capable of taking over entire afternoons. He's among the league leaders in offensive production and has rightfully entered conversations for individual awards. His arm has been a nightmare for opposing defenses, and even with a beaten-up offensive line, he continues to find ways to create plays out of nothing. But with all those injuries up front, the concern heading into this week is huge. Can the line hold up? Can a reserve stay composed when they're staring down a pass rush featuring explosive names like Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, and Dexter Lawrence? The Giants' defense hasn't played well this season, but that front is stacked with playmakers. And with a change in defensive leadership after the coordinator's exit, there's always that familiar spark teams get when they shake up the coaching staff mid-season. That's exactly what makes this such a dangerous matchup. The expectation is that New York will blitz more, play more aggressively, and attack the weak points of New England's offensive line from the very first drive. And with Drake May already ranking among the most hit quarterbacks in the league, that becomes even more alarming. Still, despite the pressure, there are areas where the Patriots can take full advantage. New York's run defense has been such a glaring issue that it's hard to understand how a front with that much talent collapses so easily once opponents commit to the ground game. They've surrendered massive lanes, free yardage, and explosive runs all season long. That places direct responsibility on the Patriots' backfield, especially now that Trayvon Henderson has stepped into a larger role. He brings speed, burst, and the ability to turn a simple carry into a long gain whenever he finds daylight. In a game like this, establishing the run isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential. But one of the biggest topics dominating conversations in New England is the ongoing disaster in the red zone. It almost seems impossible that an offense this productive could struggle so much inside the 20. The most recent memory still stings. 7 attempts from the 1-yard line against Cincinnati, 7, and not a single conversion. That simply can't happen if you want to beat top teams. Honestly, it can't happen against struggling teams either, because that's the kind of failure that turns comfortable wins into stressful battles. They need answers now, whether through more creative run concepts, quick-hitting pass plays, or even a surprise call to throw the defense off balance. And that's what makes this matchup one of the standout games of the week. The rivalry, the recent history, the pressure surrounding both teams, and the presence of two quarterbacks capable of flipping the script with one single play. Both sides have weaknesses, both sides have clear strengths, and both come in knowing this game could shape the rest of their year. And, as always when Patriots and Giants collide, no one expects a blowout. This has the feel of a tight, tense, nerve-wracking showdown decided by inches, by details, by one final play after nearly 50 minutes of pure, unrelenting pressure. As the build-up reaches its peak and the tension pours through every headline, every interview, and every conversation from Foxborough to East Rutherford, what truly sets the tone for this next chapter is how both teams handle the emotional weight of the moment. The Patriots step onto the field knowing their season has transformed in a way few predicted, turning from a shaky, inconsistent beginning into a full-blown statement run that has reignited the fan base. And while momentum in the NFL can disappear as quickly as it arrives, this group carries itself with the kind of confidence that doesn't come from coincidence. It comes from surviving tight games, responding to pressure, and watching a young quarterback evolve in real time. Drake May has slowly shifted from being the future of the franchise to being its present heartbeat, the player whose expression in the huddle dictates the attitude of everyone around him. But no matter how well May has played, New England's internal conversations take an even deeper tone this week, because this matchup is about more than just execution. It's about pride. Rivalries like this one don't fade with time. They accumulate meaning. They grow with every iconic moment, every heartbreak, every unexpected twist. Patriots fans don't need reminders of how the Giants have appeared in pivotal chapters of the franchise's history. And Giants fans don't forget how satisfying it is to disrupt New England's plans at the worst possible moment. That tension lingers in the air before kickoff, a quiet acknowledgement by both sides that games like these often take on a life of their own, ignoring logic and rankings and instead leaning into drama. On the Patriots sideline, coaches know exactly where the pressure points are. The offensive line has been taped together week after week, surviving through grit and rotation. But this matchup tests them in a way few others do. Dexter Lawrence alone is the kind of interior disruptor who can ruin an entire game plan, and pairing that with the explosiveness of Burns, Thibodeau, and Carter creates a scenario where even well-designed plays can evaporate in seconds. That's why so much of the week is focused on timing, rhythm, and the ability to create quick, efficient plays to prevent the pocket from collapsing. May's ability to throw on the move, adjust platforms, and attack space is not just a bonus but a necessity, and it might be the difference between controlling the game or spending 4 quarters fighting from behind the chains. Defensively, the Patriots know that the return of Jackson Dart changes everything. Preparing for Russell Wilson is one thing. Preparing for Dart is something else entirely. His athleticism forces defenses to stay honest, to contain instead of attack, to spy instead of pressure. And yet, the Patriots have never been a team that sits back. They thrive on disguising looks, muddying reads, forcing young quarterbacks into just one hesitation. That single beat where confusion turns into opportunity. The coaching staff has spent the week emphasizing leverage, pursuit angles, and closing lanes before Dart can exploit them. It's not about stopping him completely. Very few teams have managed that. It's about turning his strengths into calculated risks and capitalizing the moment he tries to extend a play too far. The Giants, on the other hand, walk into this game carrying both frustration and belief. Frustration because they've let so many winnable games slip away. Belief because they've shown flashes, real flashes, of being a competitive team. Dart gives them a threat they haven't had in a long time, a quarterback whose ceiling feels genuinely high. Their receivers feed off his energy. Their offensive line plays harder, knowing plays can be extended, and even the running game benefits from the defensive hesitation he creates. But all that potential means nothing if they can't finish. And the film doesn't lie. Fourth quarters have exposed their discipline, their adjustments, and their execution. Both fan bases understand that in games like this, the emotional swings are part of the experience. Patriots fans have seen their team win ugly, win convincingly, win comeback battles, and even win games they probably shouldn't have. Giants fans have watched their team fight, but fall short, lead but collapse, create opportunities but fail to seize them. And that contrast creates a fascinating dynamic. New England enters with momentum defined by results. New York enters with hunger defined by frustration. And when hunger meets momentum, the field becomes a stage for volatility. Trayvon Henderson's name continues to echo through New England conversations for a reason. His emergence has reshaped what the Patriots can do. He's not just fast, he's decisive. He hits holes with purpose and turns hesitation from a defender into explosive gains. If the Giants' run defense struggles the way it has all season, Henderson has the potential to be the silent force who controls the pace of the game, even if the highlight plays end up coming from the quarterbacks. And yet, as every Patriots fan knows, none of that will matter if the red zone issues continue. Moving the ball between the 20s is one thing, but championships and rivalries are decided inside that final stretch of grass. A field goal instead of a touchdown can be the difference between victory and regret, especially in a matchup that historically refuses to be decided early. But for all the tactical concerns, what truly drives the heartbeat of this game is emotion. The Patriots aren't just defending a winning streak. They're defending the identity they fought to build. They're defending the progress May has made, the chemistry that keeps growing, the belief that this season might be more special than anyone expected. The Giants aren't just trying to end the streak. They're trying to redefine themselves, to prove that the future with Dart is more than a theoretical promise, to show that they're capable of finishing what they start. The stadium itself becomes part of the story. The noise, the tension in the crowd, the collective breaths held on every third down. Fans on both sides have learned that nothing is guaranteed in this rivalry. One tip pass, one broken tackle, one defensive breakdown can swing everything. A team can dominate for 58 minutes and still crumble in the final moments, and both sides have lived that reality. As the fourth quarter approaches, every snap feels heavier. Every coach's decision feels magnified. Every mistake threatens to become the defining moment of the night. And when the dust settles, this matchup, like so many before, will likely be remembered not for its statistics, but for its turning points. For the moment one quarterback refuses to go down. For the moment a defender punches the ball out. For the moment a receiver drags his toes just enough to keep a drive alive. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The air around Foxborough is thick with an unmistakable buzz, a palpable sense of anticipation usually reserved for late-season divisional clashes. Unconfirmed, yet fiercely persistent, rumors are swirling through NFL circles that the New England Patriots are on the verge of making a seismic splash in the league's defensive landscape. The target? None other than perennial All-Pro defensive tackle, Chris Jones. Sources close to the negotiations, speaking on condition of anonymity due to the sensitivity of the talks, suggest that the groundwork has been laid for a potential blockbuster deal that could redefine the AFC East balance of power. The word domination is being used frequently in hushed conversations, implying that Jones isn't just a signing, but the foundational piece for a complete defensive overhaul under the watchful eye of the Patriots brass. Imagine the sheer force and pressure Jones brings to the interior line, a disruptive presence that consistently requires double and sometimes triple teams. Paired with New England's historically disciplined and complex defensive schemes, his addition would immediately transform their front seven into arguably the most intimidating unit in the NFL. The defensive coordinator, known for maximizing talent, is reportedly salivating at the prospect of deploying Jones to create interior pressure, freeing up edge rushers, and completely stifling opposing ground games. This isn't about simply filling a roster spot. This is about a philosophical shift, a clear signal from the Patriot organization that they intend to return to their defensive roots and win in the trenches. The potential financial commitment would be significant, but for a game-changing, franchise-defining player like Jones, it's a price the Patriots appear willing to pay. The league is holding its breath. If this total domination rumor comes to fruition, the Patriots won't just be competing. They'll be sending a chilling message to every offense on their schedule. The whispers are growing louder. The Patriots and Chris Jones could soon be a terrifying reality. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.